會好快咁玩完咧？哦，可能快嘅都要10個鐘。我 total play time 係到250。我睇翻個 wiki 咧係有嘢做嘅，其實做完嗰個 women's slot 之後，仲有啲嘢做。反正我都係等緊佢，不如去。我仲要去偷2本書啊嘛，我記得。Loot from King of Cubans. Neuhoff Staples. 殺手嗰2本就攞咗嘅。Pickpocket a burger on the road. What? Pickenish pocket. 幾點而家？送應該1日之內可以做晒。完成任務之後有好多嘢可以攞嘅。而 Brother Nickel Diamonds 係 OK，Brother Nickel Diamonds 跟住就 Manuscript 係交翻俾Father Godwin。Sebastian 係會俾把劍。同埋可以叫做 Hanka 過嚟我自己個陣度。雖然我唔知點解佢會過嚟嘅，佢唔喺度，應該喺度幫緊手。
God be with you, Henry. God grant you health. How may I help you? Goodbye.
texture 好耐都未到完。And no read is an O。下個人
Johanka was cleared of all accusations, despite the things that were said in the trial, which you heard yourself, sir.
Johanka has been cleared and is safe, it's true. And now she's with that fellow, Matthias. But I suppose it's best that way. I should never have started that affair with her. It was unreasonable on my part and unjust towards her. Now I can see the wrongness of my actions, thanks to her. In the future, I'll be a better, more virtuous person. I believe that's what she wanted. May she find happiness with Matthias. As long as I'm in Sassau and have it in my power, they shall have my protection. It means I also owe an apology to you, Henry of Skalitz. Thank you for doing what you did for Johanka. Recently, I had a new weapon made for myself, but I think it's more fitting that you should have it. Here it is. Let's speak no more of Johanka. Go in peace. See you later.
interesting。單手劍呢把都唔係非常勁，不過好似係特別啲。Charisma 係比較高咯，應該係。冇選項要撳，跟住咧，跟住揾咗 hand 卡。
Yeah.
Greetings, Henry.
Matthias 喺依度，走咗。
Johanka?
Henry, I'm still muddled from all that happened, but I want to thank you for standing by me. You've done more for me than anyone else I know.
You don't have to thank me. I only did what I considered right.
I'm still grateful, though. I'm in your debt. Goodbye. Henry! Good luck, then.
Matthias 去咗邊？翻上
For the love of
唔可以學
God! What have you been doing?
How's it going here?
Good. Actually, better than before. Matthias is here with me. I go to St. Martin's Church often, and Father Fabian is strict with me. But he explains many things to me about God and faith, and he tests me to see if I understand correctly. Then he always leaves me alone to pray and do penance.
And what about the Virgin Mary? Does she still visit you?
No, not anymore. Not since the trial. Whatever anyone says, she did appear to me before. Just between the two of us. I think I did what she wanted of me anyway. Perhaps I was too hasty and committed the sin of pride and got confused about some things. But even so, after all, Matthias recovered, and that must mean something.
I also think you spoke well, and you were right about some things, and I believe Our Lady did appear to you.
Thank you. Let's talk no more about it. Only Our Lady herself knows what her intentions were, and that's how it should be. In church I always prayed to her for forgiveness. I hope she hears my prayers.
And how is Matthias doing now?
Good, I think. He's getting his strength back. How we're doing isn't for your ears, Henry.
There's one thing I'm curious about. What did the Inquisitor say after we left?
He spoke about God and the Blessed Virgin, but I'm not supposed to tell anyone. I probably shouldn't say anything, but I think, in the end, even the bishop believed that Our Lady really did appear to me.
What, the Inquisitor? But...
Shh! I never said a word, all right?
Ah, yeah, sure. I understand.
Now, I need to rest a while.
What will you do now?
I have to stay in Sasau for some time, on account of Father Fabian. But the abbot wants me to leave the monastery as soon as possible. And then... I wish I knew. I'll have to talk to Matthias about it, but I don't want to trouble him with it now, after he came so close to dying.
竟然係咁，喺度幫咁多人，竟然要佢哋走，解喺邊啊 ？Matthias，佢應該住喺度。應該住喺度㗎。間房係佢嘅。哦，呢度有個窗口，咁樣望住，呢個應該係守衞呢度，我冇理由有個窗口喺我入嚟。唔知啊 ，Fire 喺邊啊？佢好翻就唔瞓喺病床，但係睇睇 Vicky 先。哦，就算邀請佢哋去 previous love is， 佢哋都係會係佢哋話去，但係佢哋都喺沙巢度留低嘅，去到幾個為止。問題馬莎人喺邊呢？邊啊？我秘密嘅。啲 Philip 永遠都瞓喺度，過咗2個幾月。
God be with you, Henry.
You saved me. You've no idea what you've done for me. God, thank you.
I didn't do that much.
You did more than anyone else here. I'm sorry, I've got no money to repay you, but I can tell you a secret. How workers like me keep up back-breaking labour day after day.
呢桶咩水嚟嘅？
Henry! God be with you.
That frigate camp was huge, and they turned it into a right stronghold. Big high wooden palisade all around.
應該唔係做呢度啲工㗎。He should be wandering around the monastery. I found him near the construction workers. Không làm mất.
Like I said, I've never seen anything like it in my life.
呢邊好似幾乎冇人，唔知點解。可能係屬於個 Sebastian 嘅地方嚟。
Good day, Henry. God be with you.
Wandering around the monastery， 揾到嘅。又唔係幫緊啲病人。
God save Henry.
出面㗎，好難揾嘅。呢道門我開完之後永遠係打開嘅，即係我閂門嘅時候咪閂埋啦應該。 應該唔會入到嚟嘅。真係揾唔到佢。Vegetable garden just outside of the monastery.我都諗緊係咪喺出面㗎啦，已經。Monastery courtyard。Matthias 應該喺呢度生活先啦。除非佢都係去幫啲兵。
How are you, Henry?
見到你啊，終於，我喺度種緊菜。哇！
How are you getting on?
I can't complain.
Glad to see you back on your feet.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Henry. Your hunker told me all about how you helped her. And actually, me too. It's incredible. All the things that happened.
You're right there.
I'm in your debt, Henry. For both of us.
Don't mention it, Matthias. You'd have done the same, wouldn't you?
Of course I would.
See? Next time I need help, I know who to come to. Anyway, what else is new? What about Johanka?
Well, she has to go to St. Martin's to do penance every day.
You know that's not what I'm asking about.
Yeah. It's all good. Of course, she's very busy. And me too. But we'll go dancing together next time there's some feet here. That is, I'd like to. She would too, but she's a bit ashamed.
Why?
On account of the preaching, and the court and everything. She's worried about being among people.
Ah, I see. Well, that'll pass with time, believe me. It took me and Teresa a while to get somewhere too. Sometimes I feel like it's been a whole year.
Like you say, time will probably fix it.
So what will you do now, Matthias? Or the two of you?
I wish I knew, Henry. For now, I'll work in the monastery grounds. Maybe even on the construction, until they throw us out.
They don't want to let you stay here.
Well, it seems the abbot isn't happy about so many lay people right outside the monastery walls. Nicodemus is trying to put a word in for us, and for Adela, too. But the abbot can be very obstinate. He wasn't happy about Johanka being here at all. And then, with all that happened after.
I see. So what will you do if you have to leave?
I really don't know. We'll stay until harvest, at least. There'll be plenty of work, and then we'll see. Maybe we can find jobs somewhere around here. But more likely we'll go away to other parts, if we can save some money. I don't know where, though.
Well, I might have something for you. Sir Divish appointed me bailiff of Pribyslavitz. After you finish with the harvests, the two of you could go there. There'll be lots of work there for a clever pair like you.
Jesus, Henry. You've really come up in the world. That would be great. Thanks. We'll go there, right after harvest. It's good to know we'll have a place for the winter. I won't forget you for this, Henry. And for everything you've done.
OK，剩翻兩樣嘢做啫。啲事後嘅情節，咪其實我睇緊個 Steam 嗰個攻略，係咪有講過？我抹一眼先。冇喎呢度。harder 咧應該。攞福嚟嘅，既然係攞福嚟嘅，基本要還翻俾 Father Godwin。 因 Noble 係最強，61616718。我要求仲高，但係 durability 高啲，同埋係咯，係整體弱啲。冇得傾。嚟嘅。
I'm on it.
隻馬身上都係有嘢嘅。Mouse view 好似好咗少少，原因不明。
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
係，我嚟沖涼。我哋聽唔有得沖涼。
God's. Take care.
好似喺呢度穿過，好似喺呢度穿過係最快。
Hey! Good day.
點俾佢啊？
I heard you and Pavel of Colleen gave a donation to Sasau. It's a pity you didn't think of us. Anyway, what can I do for you?
Brother Nicodemus, I'd like to thank you for the wonderful testimony you gave.
You're the one who deserves thanks, Henry. I feared the worst. And for all my prayers, I never even dared hope for such an outcome. I could hardly believe it at first. I was very fearful for Johanka. It didn't look good at all for her, facing such accusations. And you did an excellent job, Henry. It's largely due to you that everything turned out as it did. Thanks for defending her, Henry. There's few people who could have done it so well. Recently, I found an interesting volume in the monastery library and made a copy from it in secret. It's just a few lines, but maybe you'll find it useful.
Thanks. Do you still think the Virgin Mary's visitations were real?
Yes, I think they were. Even if she didn't interpret the message quite correctly, we were certainly witness to something extraordinary.
It was slowly over a long period. 可以係，希望可以練到個 alchemy 個 skill 啦。base 係最低嘅而家，可以換，換翻 base 出嚟。我有本書喺手。Father Godwin 唔同我講嘢咯。
See you later.
佢真係冇咩做啦而家，係翻去旅館瞓覺。我諗等多一日，我諗等多一日就。
Yeah.
可以喺依間屋瞓，感覺安全少少喺呢度，應該射箭射唔到過嚟。雖然我覺得啲戰術高強嘅人都射到過嚟。 哋有冇打中個城堡㗎？你哋開炮，嗰啲煙唔係個城堡，係隔離嗰間屋。真係睇到個投石機運作。喺依張凳度瞓，我都唔知點瞓得。可以睇書其實。我冇放低本書，睇完之後，真係冇嘢做啊！呢度連張似樣啲嘅床。應該只要喺度攻打緊 Temple 咧，就唔會有 tournament 嘅。Mr. Hanish 根本唔喺個城堡度。 呢個係Women's Lot 嗰個 buff 嚟嘅，我諗係 clean concise。Relieved perk。係咯，係個 Women's Lot。OK，可以練快啲咁嘅話。OK，要瞓4個鐘先有用。冇嘢做啊！直頭等多1日啦，可能。真係聽到佢後面啲炮擊聲。OK。 最後一戰嚟㗎嘛？呢個機會。
God be with you.
Since Sir Divish's colours still aren't flying over Talmberg, I suppose we'll be attacking.
Just so. That Istvand's a stubborn bastard.
All right, when do we start?
There's no reason to wait. Are you really ready? If you need to rest or anything, we can still wait. You won't have another chance until we've won the day. Or until your final rest.
I'm ready.
Glad to hear it. We're going to attack on two fronts. The North Gate and the West Wall, which will scale with ladders. The attack will be split into different stages. Taking the outer walls, the inner bailey, and finally the core of the castle and the tower.
How are we going to attack the gate?
We'll try to do as much damage as we can with the trebuchet first. Keezer claims he can even hit it directly. Even if that's true, we'll have to charge through a downpour of enemy arrows all the way to the portcullis.
Portcullis?
Fortunately, it's wooden, so we'll be able to break it down. But dealing with the defense in the bailey won't be easy.
And what's the plan for attacking the west wall?
First, we have to get men to the wall with ladders, which is no easy matter under fire, so we'll need as many men covering them as possible. As soon as the ladders are in place, our foot soldiers will run up and try to scale the wall. Once a few of them get to the battlements, we should quickly gain the upper hand.
How will we take the battlements?
Either by scaling the west wall, or our men at the gate will help. If they can break through, that is.
And the inner bailey?
That will be tough. Even if we get through the gate and into the outer bailey, we're still a long way from victory. The castle is designed so we'll be like hens in a coop to anyone with a bow on the inner battlements. We'll have to either fight our way through, or somehow get around them.
What about the living quarters?
There, I'm worried most about the hostages. Once we're inside, Istvan will know defeat is inevitable, but we'll still have to fight for each and every room.
I think I've heard everything I need to know.
Do you want to join the attack on the walls or on the gate? Remember, many of the Skalitz men will follow you. It could make a big difference.
I'll help with the attack on the walls.
I'm proud of you, Henry.
Oh,
You've
okay,
changed
well,
from
I
an insolent pup into a tough, reliable fighter. And as God is my witness, we will kick those whoresons' arses.
A village lad and an old soldier. This man must be shaking in his boots.
If he's not shaking, then he doesn't know what he's got coming. Just one last thing, though. No matter how good the plan is, something always gets fucked up. Keep your eyes open and take advantage of every chance. Help your comrades and don't go rushing in where you're outnumbered. We have to take the castle gradually, one position after another.
I'll remember that.
Good luck to you, stripling.
Good luck to you, old soldier.
Goodbye.
Okay. Giờ睇攻略先。傳送咗嚟呢度，點解？同個 cut 線完全搏唔埋啦。咁應該冇咩選項。哦，做咩？喂！
For fuck's sake! Cover yourselves!
係射箭射死嘅嗰啲人。 我真係快啲衝入去先。可能係 crossbow 啊，雖然我一把都冇見過喺個成個遊戲度。普通劍嚟嘅。我有冇指示嘅？唔可以攞把，唔可以攞。我都覺得係有問題嘅，應該攞唔到馬身上面啲嘢。亂嚟咧你！又加中死人！唉！乜再行過嚟喎你哋
？We got them! And now from the south! We'll charge them from the rear!
緊呢度。
Sir, we should give the order.
Let's see if Istvan Toth can worm his way out of this one.
Don't tempt fate, Hanush.
Istvan! It's over! You want us to come and get you?
I wouldn't advise that. Your friend Divish wants to see his wife alive again.
And Sir Radzig? Are both hostages unharmed?
For now, Hanush, unless circumstances change.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. My guest is also safe and sound, but he's also quite keen to go home. I imagine you feel the same way. It's been a long time since you warmed yourself at your own hearth.
I'm in no hurry. I've plenty of supplies here, grand view and excellent company. What more can I want?
Your freedom!
Freedom? Freedom to get an arrow in the back?
Sir, you're all noblemen here. All bound by honor. I give you my word as a knight and lord, and that of my companions. If you release Lady Stephanie and Sir Radzig, you may leave the castle with your men and go on your way unharmed.
And just how far will we get? What good will it do me if your men attack us in the woods instead of here?
If you give me your word of honor that you will leave and never return, I promise you safe passage to the boundary of this fiefdom. What happens after that is up to you and the will of God Almighty.
Very well then, but I want a small safeguard. I'll give you her ladyship, but Radzig comes with me. I'll release him in Skalitz.
Out of the question! Is our word not good enough for you?
Is mine not good enough for you? I swear I'll release him when I get to a safe distance.
I'll go with him, Hanush. Let the Lady Stephanie have her freedom now.
Father!
Don't worry, son. I trust Lord Toth's self-interest more than his word. He wouldn't be fool enough to harm me.
If you're certain, Radzig.
Prepare horses and supplies, and tell your men to pull back. We'll come down.
You heard him. Get to work. And any man who breaks his truce answers to me.
So, are you really going to let them go?
My word is my bond, Henry.
He's a cutthroat and a liar. Good men are dead because of him. What's to stop us from skewering him as soon as he sets foot outside?
Our honor!
If you let him go, he'll do the same again. Or worse.
God's justice will find him. And then, he'll get a taste of my mace.
If we break our word of honor, we have none. And without honor, we are nothing. Never fear. Your father will be all right.
We'll hunt down those vermin yet.
Bring the horses.
Here she is, as I promised. Not a hair on her head harmed.
Divish.
Stephanie.
Forgive me, husband. I'm sorry
For what?
for letting them into the castle.
Come now, my dear. You're not to blame.
I didn't know who he was. He said he was your friend.
Never mind. Did he hurt you?
No.
I hope your word can be trusted.
Certainly more than yours.
If everything goes as agreed, I'll set Radzig free in Skalitz. If anyone tries to follow us, I'll kill him.
We won't.
My apologies for keeping you from your father, but you'll see each other soon enough. Oh, I almost forgot. Your sword. I expect you'll want it back after all the trouble you went to. Actually, you know what? I think I'll keep it. As a memento.
This isn't over. I'll find you.
I look forward to it. Yeah!
Quick! To the battlements! We have to see which way they go! Oh, they really are heading for Skalitz. Mount up, Henry. You've heard what he'll do if we follow them. We're not going to follow them. We just have to collect your father. Or do you want him to walk back here when they release him?
睇攻略先。吓，呢個係結局嚟嘅。What？
Yeah.
竟然係有戴頭盔嘅Capcom。你隻馬可唔可以跑快啲啊
What will you do now?
Not long ago, I only made plans 3 days ahead at most. Maybe I really could do something for Rattay and its people. Something really big. But there'll be plenty of time for that later. What do you think? Will Tom keep his word?
The noble, right?
Yes. So am I.
Sir Radzig will be there. What should I say to him?
Don't worry. It'll come to you. You'll see.
Hennish 好有限啊佢。
This is quite a turnaround, isn't it?
What do you mean?
How long have we known each other? A few weeks?
Something like that.
Before that, I was chasing wenches around Rattay and you were digging turnips. Now look at us. A pair of veterans.
I was an apprentice blacksmith, not a turnip digger.
Same difference, you silly bugger.
我諗我隻馬真係快過佢嗰隻好多。
The way you found Tom, sneaking into Brannick all on your own, soft too, you have. What can be?
後面有人嘅。
There's no sign of them. Move on. I'm glad to see Ishvan kept his word, sir.
Not half as glad as I am, Your Grace.
Well, we kept our word too, and now Toth has had his head start and he's fair game. Which way do they go?
To the north, but I would be careful, Sir Hans.
Fear not, Your Grace. I have twice as many men as he. I won't keep you any longer. I'm sure the two of you have a lot to say to each other. Let's go!
4個人啫喎，你得。
All right, Father.
I am. They treated me quite decently. Although they did steal my horse, I'll have to go back on foot.
It looks like it's all over.
Not by a long shot. It won't be over until we get this mess cleared up.
And catch that bastard. How could we let him go?
Would you rather we killed him? Even if it meant Lady Stephanie and I died too?
No, of course not. But what was to stop us from killing him after the exchange?
Honor?
Honor?
If the word of honor of a nobleman could not be trusted, then he would never have agreed to the exchange.
Where's the honor in abandoning your son?
You know how it is. We were young. It happened. And I couldn't marry a commoner. Then your father, Martin, came along and took care of both of you.
He knew it.
What? That I was your father? Certainly. He was a great man. He took you as his own. And always kept an eye on you. Of that you can be sure.
I know so little about his past.
He told you nothing? Oddly enough, even though you don't have his blood, you're very like him. When he was around your age, he became bored of his trade and set out to see the world. He lived through many adventures, even fought in a war.
In a war?
Yes, in Poland, I believe. And I don't think he cared much for it.
That's why he wanted me to stay at home.
He spent some time in Prague, then settled in Kuttenberg. But it seems he quarreled with someone there and finally ended up here. You know the rest.
I loved him, but even so, I somehow always had a feeling I didn't quite fit in.
It was in your blood, I suppose.
I lost the one thing I had left from him. Your sword.
Ah, the sword. It's not my sword. It's yours.
For a
moment there, it was so near, yet so far. Oh well, it can't be helped.
It was almost within my grasp, but just then I had something else on my mind.
Well, I think we may yet have a chance to get it back. This business with Toth is not yet over, unfortunately.
That's a chance I'd welcome. Not just to get the sword, but that bastard Istvan too. And then I'll find that German whoreson who torched Skalitz, and I'll slay him with it. I'll never forget his face. Or his name. Markwart von Aulitz.
Those are noble intentions, son. But don't forget there are other things in this world that are worth living for.
Like what?
Look around you. Blue skies overhead, green grass underfoot, beautiful girls. Good wine, a few good friends, and a fine steed under your backside. Those are things worth living for. Though I can't deny that swine who killed your mother must pay for what he did. But it's better not to dwell too much on that, at the cost of those other things. On the subject of steeds, I think we'll have to ride like the Knights Templar.
How's that?
2 up. One day I'll tell you how they got their seal. You can take the front. It's like I always imagined it would be, teaching my boy to ride. Although it would be better if you were a little smaller. My word, it's all go today, isn't it? I wonder who this is.
I think I know. It's Margrave Jobst.
The king's cousin? I wonder what he wants. I guess we'll find out soon enough.
呢種情況下翻返嚟 Scarlett 啊，完。我諗呢個 credit scene 係半個鐘啦。我唔記得 Assassin's Creed Odyssey 嗰個幾長，呢個應該要半個鐘啦，起碼。咁多 PhD 係呢個 historical advisor。Sword fighting choreography 就係呢隊人。佢喺呢個地方用 metal 好似，假如覺得唔係好夾，同埋呢種係 death metal 嚟㗎。 佢剩低得堆 cut 先㗎嘛，應該係咯。咁我玩完佢算啦，今日。雖然未練完啲技能，不過練嚟都冇咩分別，練嚟都冇咩分別。係喎，可以解下啲 achievement。咁快完？認真？咁快完？我 expect 佢半個鐘啊個場。邊度嚟嘅？
Doing well, son. Father. Come now. You know who sired you. That doesn't matter now. I miss you, Amar. I miss you very much.
You'll be fine. We're proud of you.
For what? I let you down. I lost the sword. I let that bastard get away.
Don't be so hard on yourself. There was nothing you could have done to save us. And someone has to live and carry the torch. As for the sword, it's just a thing.
You didn't want me fighting. Now look at me.
Standing up to evil isn't the same as sowing its seeds. You did what was right.
佢想像出嚟個境界唔靚。
I have to leave you now.
Oh, please.
You know I can't stay.
Will I ever see you again?
Make her proud.
Oh, don't go. No.
What on earth were you dreaming about? I couldn't wake you, and it's well past dawn. Sir Radzik wants you at the upper castle. The lords are in council with Jobst.
Right. I'll go straight away. What is it?
It's just... I don't know how to address you anymore. All of a sudden you're Sir Radzig's son, hobnobbing with lords and ladies. And here's me, as common as muck.
Oh, give over, you idiot. Do I look like a lord to you?
Not really. You're as much a lord as I am a nun. And I've never looked good in a habit.
Get out of here! Or I'll have you clapped in the stocks.
You're in a private area? How?做唔做啲 achievement 呢？我唔知有幾多個可以做到其實。Game saved。 我啲真係咩裝束？喂，呢個任務係完全冇意義嘅，擺喺度，完全冇做過。What？未睡到19。drinking 係要入，係要嘅。喺上邊啊。
Alright.
Stop right there. I have to search you.
What the fuck?
Are you deaf?
What the fuck?
What?
What?
For security reasons.
I expect your superiors will have a thing or two to say about this.
I meant no offense. Sorry. Go right ahead.
食懵咗佢。係要修補下呢盞。250個鐘玩完啦，終於練唔練埋啲級佢咧？可能唔練級，但係就做下 achievement。唔知做漏幾多個。仲有 tournament 係未玩完，但係一星期整得一次咯。
Hal, are you going to the meeting with Margrave Jobst as well?
I am. What about Istvan? I assume...
That we didn't catch him? No. Because if we had, you'd be the first one to know. Have no fear. We'll get him eventually.
I hope you're right. Anyway, let's go and see what Jobst wants from us.
冇 option 喺度。
My lords, Christ's blessings on you all.
And on you, Lord Capon.
And this is my son, Henry.
I didn't know you had a son, Sir Redzig.
It came as a bit of a surprise to young Henry, too.
This gentleman here is John II of Liechtenstein, a member of my council.
I'm honored, gentlemen.
Come join us. Margrave Jobst was just about to tell us the reason for his visit. Your Grace?
I'm sure we're all agreed, Your Graces, that all this unrest must come to an end. This kingdom needs a king.
The question is, which king?
My cousin, Wenceslas IV, who is being held in captivity.
I have to confess, my lord, that your answer surprises me a little. If I'm correctly informed, until recently you sided with your other cousin, Sigismund.
That I cannot deny, and I have always stated my position plainly. But times have changed.
How have they changed, Your Grace?
Sir, there is one thing on which we undoubtedly concur. That King Wenceslas, unfortunately, did not inherit his father's gift for governing. Sadly, his failures have cost Bohemia, the nobles, and our whole Luxembourg family a great deal of money and effort.
How did the king let it go so far, damn it?
It's in his temperament. He cares only for wine, women, and the hunt. A king, in fact, who never wanted to be king.
Then why didn't he just let his brother have the crown?
Young sir, the crown weighs heavy when there are duties to be performed, but to surrender it means giving up great privileges too.
But he did surrender power to his brother. When things started getting out of hand, Wenceslas appealed to Sigismund for help in restoring order.
What, you're saying Wenceslas invited him here?
This is starting to make my head spin.
Actually, it makes sense when you think about it. Sigismund wanted to re-establish the power of the whole House of Luxembourg. He thought if he helped Wenceslas win the imperial crown, in return his brother would help him become the king of the Romans, and leave the actual reign of Bohemia and the empire to him. Sigismund would govern, while Wenceslas could carry on doing what he was best at, enjoying the life of the imperial court.
Why wasn't Wenceslas crowned Holy Roman Emperor long ago? He was already elected king of the Romans. All he had to do was go and let the Pope put the damn imperial crown on his head.
Who knows? Maybe he'd prefer hunting and consorting with bathhouse wenches to spending time with the Pope.
Well, so would I must admit.
Sigismund's plan seemed sound enough, but it didn't quite work out, did it?
It worked for a while. He and his brother reached an agreement. Sigismund took over administration of the kingdom and began planning Wenceslas's journey to Rome for the imperial coronation. But then Wenceslas realized he would just be a puppet. Wenceslas to the coronation, kicking and screaming if he had to. Just like a naughty child, as you say.
So he abducted him and your brother Prokop too, if I heard correctly.
Correct.
And you helped him do it, if I heard correctly.
Yes, Your Graces, it's true. I was there when Sigismund abducted Prokop. I thought everything could somehow be settled, that we could make my brother see sense. But Sigismund just wanted to put an end to the dispute once and for all, whatever the cost. There was nothing I could do to stop him. And that's one of the reasons why I'm here. The worst of it is that it was all for nothing. Instead of putting a stop to the revolt, it escalated it, and the result is this chaos we have today.
That's true enough, sir. But I must admit now, I'm not sure what your position is. The king is incompetent, but we must protect him?
The simple truth, gentlemen, is that for all of Wenceslas's faults, we have no one else.
So we'll have to make do with his idleness.
People like him, though.
But what can we do now? Sigismund has the League of Lords behind him. Otto von Bergolf, Heinrich von Rosenberg.
The situation has gotten completely out of control. Now even the nobles of the League of Lords are realizing that Sigismund wasn't the right choice.
So now Bergolf is on your side? Are we to assemble an army together with him and face Sigismund on the field of battle?
We're not in Hungary now. Such affairs may be settled elegantly, without unnecessary hostilities or expenses. I have negotiated an alliance with the Hungarian bishops, the Polish, and of course the Czech nobility, against Sigismund. Every day he is losing the ground under his feet, and that's why I need your help too.
What kind of help, though? Sigismund has a massive army, and Rosenberg, Berghoff, and Prague are behind him. Do you have an army you could face him with?
But that's not what I mean at all. There's been a revolt against Sigismund in Hungary, partly due to my efforts, and now he'll have to choose whether he wants to gain the Bohemian crown, which is a very risky enterprise, or hold on to the Hungarian one. He can't have both. And there's a tough struggle awaiting him in Hungary. I'm not sure he'll win, and Rosenberg and Berghoff know it too. They're not stupid. If the Bohemian nobility stands together, they will turn.
We are men of little consequence, Margrave. Radzig here lost everything because of his alliance with Wenceslas. Sir Divish came within a hair of the same fate. Even Rattay is defenseless against Sigismund and the League of Lords.
What's more, Your Grace, King Wenceslas languishes in captivity in Vienna. He can't rule too well from there.
And what do you propose? To sit with your arms folded till the Bohemian lands are turned to ashes like Skalitz? We have to put a stop to this senseless war!
And do you know, sir, what the true position of the League of Lords is?
I'm not on the best of terms with them at this moment, so you'll have to ask them yourselves.
Yes.
What?
Why not? I'll go and visit Berghoff at his castle and we'll see what he tells me.
Really?
You know, that's not such a bad idea, young sir.
True. Though a little risky.
I doubt Berghoff would harm a blue-blooded envoy. And you can find out what he has to say about developments and what the League of Lords is planning. Then we'll decide what to do next.
I'll help you compose a letter to him.
I'd like Henry to come with me.
Why not? He's proven himself an able investigator, and he'll also be a good bodyguard if anything should happen.
And I'll send Sir John here to Kuttenberg to be my eyes and ears there. I believe both your reports will help us get a better grip on the situation.
When can you set out?
Just as soon as I've packed my things.
Excellent. Margrave Jobst and I will draft the letter. Get ready, and we'll meet back here.
The question is how. We need to learn where they stand on liberating the king and ousting Sigismund. If they'll make trouble or join our side,
But we have to ask in a way that won't leave Sir Capon being run out of the castle with a whip.
Exactly.
How about writing that you're concerned about current events and that you want to see things settled peaceably, and then ask the opinion of the League of Lords?
Very well said, sir. And what they want to do about freeing King Wenceslas.
Whether they think liberating King Wenceslas IV might contribute to resolving the dispute?
And what they plan to do about the god-awful mess in this country.
What steps they envisage taking to end the pillaging of Bohemia by foreign armies?
I couldn't have put it better myself.
Well, I'd also venture to suggest one more. What is their stance on that is, the initiatives of Margrave Jobst of Moravia and a large part of the Bohemian nobility? Whether they plan to take action against them or support their efforts?
You read my thoughts, sir.
係喎，仲有個 Codex 係有好多嘢未睇。
So, what do you think of Margrave Jobst, Bernard?
From what I've heard about him, I wouldn't trust him if he told me rain was wet.
I feel the same. It's never wise to trust a man who's turned his coat more than once.
Exactly. And I don't buy that business with Prokop. He double-crossed his own brother, and the rest is just his cover-up.
On the other hand, if anyone has a chance to oust Sigismund and keep the nobility on his side, it has to be Jobst. Good health to you.
What do you think of Job's speech, Sir Robard?
Honestly, lad, I wouldn't trust a word he says. He'll drag us into something, and when the going gets tough, he'll turn tail and leave us to deal with the consequences.
好多嘢講。
And who is this Jobst exactly?
He spent 20 years wrangling over Moravia with his brother, Prokop. Then they suddenly reconciled when Sigismund was captured in Hungary, and they went plundering there, claiming it was with the aim of liberating him. When Wenceslas sent them to parley with his enemy, Rupert of the Palatinate, the pair of them turned coats on the spot, took sides with Rupert, and together with the League of Lords and the Meissen nobles laid siege to Prague. But then they made terms with the king. He agreed to hand over part of the government, and they sent the Meisseners home. This is no ancient history I'm talking about. It was only 2 years ago, and now, suddenly, he's Wenceslas's greatest ally. Can you trust someone like that?
What the fuck?可唔可以做得咁出面啊啲嘢？啊，完全唔掩飾㗎喎。
Do you think that rescuing Wenceslas will help the country, sir?
God knows. The king is a drunkard. If he governed instead of boozing, wenching at the baths and hunting, there'd be peace and order. Quite honestly, I'm not surprised the Germans deposed him, or that Sigismund's patience ran out.
Why?
Wenceslas himself sent for Sigismund to help him, and made an agreement with him. And when Sigismund started acting as agreed, Wenceslas double-crossed him and claimed the agreement was invalid, just because he no longer liked it. What would you have done in Sigismund's place? On the other hand, now we've seen what Sigismund has been getting up to here, it's clear he's no better a sovereign than his brother. And that goes double for Rupert, not to mention Jobst, who might well have his eye on the Bohemian throne too. So, all in all, we're probably best off with the drunkard. Better the devil you know.
Good. That was all I needed to know. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Bear up, and take care of yourself. The world is a dangerous place, and Bergov's a dangerous man. God be with you.
就係想除咗頭盔啫。
And what about Prokop?
Well, he stayed on the king's side, for most of the time at least, largely because they're birds of a feather. He's not keen on governing either. But woe betide anyone who tries to take control away from him. Then he would turn on his own brother, literally. He often behaves like a rebel, just in grander style.
What do you think Sigismund's after?
I'd say he wants to restore the empire to its glory days under his father, Emperor Charles, which his brother seems incapable of doing. But he's also defending the East against the Turks, and fighting with his own noblemen at home, battling his brother and cousins here, and Rupert and the Meissen nobles in Germany. He has a lot to deal with, and riding roughshod over everyone certainly isn't helping. Mind you, what else is he to do? I think in more settled times he might make quite a good king, but now he's missed his chance.
唉，真係慘。
What about the League of Lords and Bergo? What are their objectives?
Whenever the king is weak, The nobility tries to grab as much as it can. Not for the good of the country, of course, only for themselves. The League of Lords is full of men like that. When the king was captured the first time, they released him only after he nominated them to high office and ceded some of his power to them. Now that he's held captive a second time, they run the country at Sigismund's behest. Bergov is the highest vice-chamberlain in the land. As soon as the king was captured, he declared a pogrom on the Jews and raised the tax dues of towns and monasteries. Watch your step with him.
各懷鬼胎。
And what about Rupert of the Palatinate? What does he want?
Rupert. He appointed himself king of the Romans. And ever since then, he's been making the tactical moves of a coward who's not sure what to do. If Wenceslas were a man worth his salt, he'd have dealt with him long ago. But then, if Wenceslas was any use, he wouldn't be languishing behind bars in Vienna right now.
Good. That was all I needed to know. Thank you, sir.
Take care.
God be with you.
Can I ask?
Thank you.
God be with you.
有 Townsman 喺度嘅。
I'm at your service, Sir Knight.
Good luck then.
So what do you think of it all, Sir Divish?
I think I don't know what to think.
That makes two of us.
If I didn't know anything about Jobst, I'd say he's right and absolutely truthful. But I've heard too much about him already.
Likewise. But I do feel he's the one with the best chance to put things right.
Well, we'll see what we learn from Bergov. If the League of Lords stands with Sigismund, then our chances pale, in spite of everything Jobst said.
We shall see. We shall see.
佢就冇話叫我同佢講嘢。
God be with you, lad. What can I do for you? Goodbye.
係冇新嘢嘅。你咧？你係咩人嚟嘅？Okay.
So, it looks like you're off on a mission.
Yes, I can't wait.
I don't want to dampen your spirits, my boy, but watch out. These are evil times, and who knows what can happen along the way. Not to mention that Bergov is no saint.
Don't worry.
I know. You've shown you can fend for yourself, but do take care. You'll be traveling as Lord Capon's bodyguard. You'll be there to make sure nothing untoward happens to him. Keep your eyes peeled and your ears wide open. What Bergov tells you is one thing, but what you see may be quite another.
Rest assured, Father.
And don't get embroiled in anything else. Just hand over the letter, hear out his reply, and return.
Yes.
Very well. Bergov is at Trotsky Castle. I think you'll find it quite an eye-opener. It's one of the finest castles in the land. It's 3 days' ride from here, so unless you hit a snag along the way, you'll be back soon enough. Any questions?
I'm getting a bit lost in the Luxembourg. It all seems a bit too tangled.
The Luxembourgs have ruled the Empire and Bohemia for almost 100 years now. Emperor Charles brought this land to prominence. When he was in power, it had never been so good. Wenceslas and Sigismund are his sons, but by different mothers. Jobst and Prokop are their cousins. They were entrusted with governing Moravia. But instead, they've been in a bitter armed feud for years. And now Sigismund's fallen out with Wenceslas. Wenceslas also had another brother, the youngest, John of Görlitz, who was most probably poisoned. They seem like a hot-blooded lot. It's hard to keep up with their affairs, since they tend to change their alliances from one day to the next.
Who is he really, this Jobst?
The cousin of King Wenceslas. He's the Margrave of Moravia. I admit I don't know what to make of him myself. Until recently, he was allied with the League of Lords. For a time, he even served Rupert of the Palatinate against the king. And now suddenly, he's reversed his position.
I don't know what led him to do it, and one can't help being suspicious. It's best to keep a watchful eye on him, but he really is the leader of the resistance against Sigismund these days. We'll just have to see how it all turns out.
I'm a bit concerned so many people seem to think so little of King Wenceslas. You knew him, didn't you? What's he really like?
Well, there's no straightforward answer to that question. He certainly makes a great hunting and drinking companion, but he can be very fiery and impetuous when things don't go how he'd like them. He never had much of a head for high office. He finds it tiresome. But once a man's grasped the scepter, it's hard to let it go again. You can't just abscond. You've seen for yourself what happens when he disappears for a few months. Better a bad but legitimate king than a bloody war over the throne.
Who is this Prokop that Job spoke of?
Jobst's brother, the king's cousin. He and Jobst warred over Moravian supremacy for years. Then they were allies for a while, betrayed Wenceslas and sided with Rupert of the Palatinate. But after Sigismund abducted Wenceslas, Prokop fomented a revolt against him, and Sigismund had him captured. Politics. Make of it what you will. I, for one, can't make head or tail of it most of the time.
The League of Lords and that Berghoff we're off to see. Who are they exactly?
The lords of the powerful houses. Heinrich of Rosenberg, Otto of Berghoff, Heinrich of Radetz, and others. They're unhappy with the way their influence declined after Wenceslas surrounded himself with the lesser orders of nobility. They abducted the king years ago and made him bow to their will. They got away with it that time, and now they've joined forces with Sigismund and done it again. But now it seems that Sigismund's behavior is starting to rub them up the wrong way, so they may well be thinking twice. We'll see what Berghoff has to say.
I don't know all that much about Sigismund.
He's the king's younger brother and king of Hungary in his own right. 7 years ago, he led a crusade against the Turks and was defeated at Nicopolis. Some say it was due to the recklessness of the French knights, most of whom were mercilessly slaughtered. Sigismund is ambitious and capable. He might well make a better ruler than Wenceslas, but he's arrogant, and to our misfortune, brutal. Not long ago, he himself was held captive by the Hungarian nobility. They dislike him as much as some of the Czech and German noblemen do his brother Wenceslas. Ironically, Wenceslas joined forces with Jobst to liberate him. And now this is how Sigismund repays his brother. There's no doubt about it, God does move in mysterious ways.
Rupert of the Palatinate. That's a name I hadn't heard before today.
Rupert is the Prince Elector of the Palatinate.
What's a Prince Elector?
The Prince Electors are dignitaries of the Holy Roman Empire who have the right to elect the King of the Romans, who would then be crowned Holy Roman Emperor by the Pope. Rupert took the title for himself with the help of 3 other Prince Electors, even though Wenceslas had already been appointed. Some of the nobility in the empire recognized Rupert's claim, but when he went to Rome to be crowned emperor, it turned into a fiasco. Now he's doing his utmost to get Wenceslas to acknowledge him, but so far without success. So, now we have 2 kings of the Romans. Jobst sided with Sigismund for a while, but now he's switched allegiance. He seems to do that quite a lot.
That young man, Sir John of Liechtenstein. Why is he here?
The Liechtensteins are a powerful Austrian family with estates in Austria and Moravia. Sir John sits on Jobst's council. Since the king's being held captive in Vienna, I suppose it makes sense to have a powerful Austrian house as allies. It could be very useful.
That's about all.
Very well. Take the letter from Sir Hanush. And good luck, son.
I believe we have written it well, gentlemen.
Without a doubt. No one could deduce from this whether we are Sigismund's allies or foes.
I must travel back to Brno now, but soon I will go to Brandenburg and I will stop here on the way back. By then, Sir Capon should be back and we can discuss how to proceed.
Right. Before you leave, my lord, there is one thing that gives me no rest. Why did Sigismund come as a foe? It makes no sense.
If I may, sir, I think I can explain.
Oh, please enlighten us, young sir.
I live not far from Hungary, where Sigismund reigns. It is a savage country, and the constant war with the Turks has hardened the people. They need a monarch with an iron hand. So when Sigismund felt the wind of revolt, he reacted as he would at home. Only what works on the Hungarian nobles does not work here in Bohemia.
Bringing order is one thing, but slaughtering and pillaging with a horde of barbarians quite another. What purpose does that serve?
But Sigismund did give the Bohemian nobles a chance to take his side. It was only when they refused his ultimatum that he lost patience and took to the sword.
As for the barbarians, he could afford nothing better. The Hungarian nobility would gain nothing from joining his campaign in Bohemia. He didn't have enough coin for a regular army, and so he recruited the Cumans. What he does not pay them, they make up for in plunder.
But in the end, he didn't have enough to even satisfy the Cumans. That's why he raided Kuttenberg and Skalitz. He wanted the silver.
That makes sense.
My lords, how's the letter coming along?
It's done.
Then we can be on our way.
Now remember what we said, boy. All you have to do is deliver the letter, listen to the answer, and come back here. Don't provoke Berghoff in any way.
Provoke? Me? Never, Uncle. We'll be back in a few days. Farewell, your graces. Come, Henry, my men are waiting.
I wish you Godspeed.
Sir David 係咪都住埋喺度？佢個城堡應該唔係咁快可以住到人。呢個係結局嚟嘅，乜都冇解決過啲政治上嘅嘢。都啱嘅，佢個遊戲係玩 RPG 玩呢個 Henry 喺呢個地方生活嘅事啫。我睇唔睇個結局啊？今日我睇埋結局啦，咁我可以話係，咁個 stream 可以話係完咗，跟住我之後先做埋啲 achievement。
So, can we set off now, Henry?
There was one more thing I wanted to attend to.
I see. We'll go on ahead and wait for you in the camp at Neuhof. I'll use the time for a hunt before we go.
Very well. We'll meet up there as soon as I'm done.
跟住過咗幾個月，應該唔好走啊！喂，唔好走啊！唔係啊，我要去開韓文嚟。我頂，隻馬踢到我喎，係哇！隻馬穿甲嘅咯，大佬。做鬼嘢啫！呢個係咪 Henry 嚟㗎？呢個人唔似 Henry 喎，呢個人個樣。呢個人呢啲來歷不明嘅人嚟喎，呢個人係。
So, can we set off now, Henry?
Of course. I can't wait.
So, to horse! The Lord of Bergov is bound to be waiting us eagerly.
快啲飲啲酒，快啲飲啲酒。唉，唔知點啊？唔好撞我落，唔好撞我落山。我應該騎近啲嘅。Sarasic 會唔會讓？最後會唔會讓個位俾 Henry 咧？阿 Sarasic 係真有其。
So, how is life for the High-born bastard?
I'm getting used to it.
What about Rodsey? Has he accounted for not owning up to you the whole time?
He explained it. All will be well, I think.
Glad to hear it. It's far more acceptable for a nobleman to befriend a noble bastard than a blacksmith's son.
Mind you, don't come to blows with a blacksmith, my young lord. What do you think about Sir Yobst and his plan?
Well, I admit all the scheming has me a little lost. I thought Sigismund was the devil, Wenceslas a martyr, those on his side the heroes, and those against him the villains. I believed we'd rescue the king and all would be well again, but now it looks a lot more complicated.
Exactly. I didn't expect the noble lords to be as noble as the angels, but I hadn't expected such a silver. They behave like children.
I can't fathom how after all this backstabbing they're somehow still on speaking terms.
I don't know either. Beggars belief. Did you know that King Wenceslas is such a...
Feckless drunkard? Not really. And to be honest, I'm not sure I wanted to know. I slept better believing my fate was watched over by a wise and powerful monarch.
So did I.
What a dismal world when you can't keep trusting your own king.
On the other hand, times were better with him here than with him gone.
Isn't that the truth?
What do you think of Sigismund?
If I were him, I'd have had enough of my brother even sooner.
But he's a monster. Look at what those hordes of his are getting up to here. What he did in Skalitz.
True enough. On the other hand, if Wenceslas and Prokop hadn't double-crossed him, none of this would have happened.
No one forced him to burn Skalitz.
That's a fact. But he couldn't let them shit all over him either. Not that I'm defending him.
He's a weasel.
No doubt about that.
Do you know anything about Prokop?
Sir Hanush could tell you a thing or two about him.
Why?
Last winter, a certain Sir Jan Sokol of Lamberg, a well-known knight, born robber baron's son, tried to occupy the city of Iglau, which was on the orders of none other than Prokop.
And what has that got to do with Hanush?
Well, he was there with him. Of course, that's not something to brag about in front of Yost.
And what was it all about?
They wanted to occupy a city that was on the side of the League of Lords, but despite there being several hundred strong, they didn't take it. For one thing, they couldn't get past the Iglau women, with their pitchforks and cauldrons of hot water.
I would never have thought of Sir Hanush as such a rebel. And have you heard anything about Rupert of the Palatinate?
A little. He can't manage even to wrest power from a king who doesn't much care for ruling and isn't fighting back. That doesn't seem like a man who has what it takes to rule. And that's all I need to know.
So doubting.
And that Berghoff we're going to see, do you know anything about him?
I haven't heard much good about him, but I have a feeling that some other nobles are quite in awe of him, and his castle is apparently quite impressive. I'll be interested to see for myself.
And what about the League of Lords?
Wealthy, pompous. The king doesn't seem to like them much. He's chosen to let the lesser ranks of the nobility into his circle, men like your father. I admit I don't blame him one bit. But the lords weren't happy about their lost influence, so they put their foot down. If I were Wenceslas, I'd let them hang after they abducted me the first time. But he gave them seats at the provincial council? Little wonder they're back in their old tricks.
我都好奇Sir Capon 着件盔甲係咩盔甲？應該都係遊戲入邊有嘅盔甲嘅。有咩都係轉右咁就走嘅。整多 save， 整多 save， 行咗7分鐘。真係要諗下仲有咩做，睇埋個 codex 咯，跟住睇下啲 achievement， 睇下有邊啲做到。通常都要幾週目先做得完。我一般玩遊戲都係嘗試1週目將所有樂園玩晒，所以反而2週目好少玩2週目咯，因為我1週目可能玩咗8、9成嘅，冇理由2週目重複玩嘅。係可以走下啲唔同嘅路線嘅啲任務。我真係冇嘢講啊！你哋我 camp 可能喺度，佢哋個 camp。件裝飾好似冇咩分別，唔係嗰啲圖像。喂，後面嗰堆人呢？喂！佢原本第二個 objective 係咩嚟
？How about it, Henry? Can we go? Are you ready for this?
Of course. At last I'll get to see more of the country and have a bit of an outing.
Quite.
The end。冇第二個 credit scene 嘅。
Let's get to it then. I finally have the feeling we're doing something worthwhile. We're helping to save the king.
Instead of saving his drunken majesty, I'd rather find that horseman who murdered my parents, get the sword back from him, skewer him with it.
Cheer up, Henry. I have a feeling you'll get your chance one day, and it won't be long in coming. Forward, men! Audentes fortuna juvat!
Well. Okay. Okay. Codex 就我諗睇都要睇2-3個鐘，唔會多嘢。我發揮下當年，我發揮下之前玩呢個 Assassin's Creed Odyssey 啊，睇佢個咩？睇佢個教學模式睇咗70-80個鐘嘅係。